Hello everyone, Scott here from Pillow Partners with this week's Pillow Talk podcast. Guys, you know I always get excited when I do physical podcasts and interviews in the studio, and I am here with Davie Sneddon from Salesgeek. We're going to let him introduce himself, but firstly, I just wanted to say I love sitting in this chair. Our new podcast studio is fantastic. To you, it may just look the same as the last one, but there's lots of other stuff happening behind the scenes, and the team are working hard to make it even better. So some right nice areas to do these interviews, and now we've got Centre of Excellence set up here in Glasgow, and we've got a great stream of people. But today, we've spent the day together discussing sales, and it's only right that I share some of this man's fantastic experience with you. I want to pass over to Davie, the sales geek, and it's not me being derogatory. Davie, give us an introduction to yourself and your business, Salesgeek.
Sure, thank you very much, Scott. I really appreciate your time today. So I really enjoyed it as well, discussing various different types of sales and strategy and all things business. So yeah, I'm Davie Sneddon from Salesgeek Glasgow. I've got a background in sales going back 25 years now. Basically, early days where I was working abroad when I first got into sales, and most of my time spent in the engineering and parts distribution of sales. So working as a sales consultant, business development, then moving on to kind of manage teams and then in senior sales leadership. So really good breadth of knowledge there. More latterly, I would say the last 5 or 6 years I've been involved in working with franchisees. So it's a franchisor and a franchisee. And recently decided that I wanted to go back to what I was good at in terms of running more SME for the last 5 years in south side of Glasgow. I wanted to get back to doing something where I gave a little bit back and I helped people start businesses, grow businesses, and really help them create that long-term growth strategy with some of the experience I've got. So that's what I'm doing now, helping small businesses to grow and build a long-term future for themselves and their families.
Perfect. And your efforts have been multiplied today because Davie's been in talking to us about sales, but that means that it's about all our franchisees. So our franchise network across the UK is going to benefit from Davie's experience in all the sessions we are going to be delivering together. So you're going to be helping 40 small businesses today. So that is good. So I want to get into, tell us a little bit, when I say sales geek, I don't mean that he is geeking. He's a sales geek. That's the name of the business. So tell us a little bit about Salesgeek, what it does. Will you help?
Yeah, we're really cool with the terminology sales geek, because when it comes to everything sales, I am a complete geek when it comes to, I don't mind anything to do with commercials in a business. I'm all over it and I'm very geeky and passionate about it. So yeah, Salesgeek was started in Blackburn 7 years ago, and there are now 30 geeks like myself up and down the country. We're also got 5 franchises, master franchise in the US. Nice. So we're going global and hopefully some more countries this year. But Salesgeek are on a mission to change the way the world perceives sales. Now that's a big statement, but as we spoke earlier, sales can sometimes be a bit of a dirty word for people. People can be nervous about sales, maybe not like selling themselves or their business or what they do, but we try and help people to overcome that. And a bit like yourself, helping me overcome the fear of a camera in front of you this afternoon.
But so some people are natural in front of a camera and just say, listen, I'll just record away. Some people are natural at sales and don't see it as sales. They just see it as talking, communicating, solving problems, identifying pain points, and adding value to people. And when it comes to the training we give our employees and our team at Pillow, sales is a word that up until we met, I said we've zero sales training, because I never wanted the word sales to be intimidating to any of our team and our franchisees. So it was, and I've deliberately moved away from the word sales. I was intimidated by sales. People think of sales, and because sales and marketing often get mixed up, but sales independently, people would say that's cold calling. I'd hate that, and I'd hate the rejection. People get intimidated, but sales is more than cold calling. Tell us a little bit about that. What is sales as a broader thing?
Okay, sales is a broader thing. I think it's more about just being comfortable and confident in what you're selling. As long as you're doing it, everything, for example, that Salesgeek do is aligned with the Institute of Professional Sales. So it's about being able to sell yourself confidently, consistently, and ethically correct, and that's what we like to promote and support people to be able to do that, and not to be scared or intimidated by it, and playing to your own strength and just being yourself, selling honestly, and giving the best value, as you mentioned earlier on, to your customers with your services.
We've had a deep dive into sales today. It's focusing on our business, and there's lots of frameworks, templates. Anybody that does sales you'll know there's phone scripts, there's everything there to help and assist sales teams, business owners, entrepreneurs, employees, whatever, to deliver that best version of whatever they are doing. Templates, scripts have their place, but do you think when it comes to sales, people should not just follow scripts, but put a little bit of their personality into it?
Yeah, 100%. It's got to be personable to you, your business, and your service, and being able to do that plausibly about you, and just be yourself. Just be who you are. Because at the end of the day, people buy off of people, and you buy something because of the way it makes you feel. So it's got to be honest, and you've got to come across in that way, and when you're trying to sell yourself or something.
Because you can get free stuff online, you can get templates, you can get resources, and you can deliver scripts, but there's certain things we've noticed, even for us, and I'm not a sales trainer in any way, but there's noticed that when I could teach people to close hosts for property management the way I would do it, but that isn't the way I did it in the start, and that my approach works well for me, but probably doesn't work for the majority of my staff. So we can take fundamental things we know that works, principles from the tried and tested in town we know would work. Again, just simple things like building rapport, not turning up late, being respectful, all these things, but putting your own personality and being your own salesperson, massively important. Here's the first question in. How did you get into sales? So that's a great question, Milo, because people want to be vets, they want to be architects. How and why did you get into sales? Was it accidental or strategic?
Yeah, very, very accidental, actually. And we found that most salespeople, if you think, ask a salesperson, how did you get into sales? They'll fallen into that career and that path in some way. And certainly that rings true to me and most of the people at Salesgeek, to be honest. From my perspective, I wanted to go away. I ended up working in Greece for 5 years for a company. So I did 6 seasons over in Greece. When I was over there, I was obviously selling experiences, let's say, and trips and boat trips and stuff like that. And I sat down one day in the office, and there was a leaderboard, and they were explaining to me, okay, if you work your way up in the sales, you can get to the top of those prizes. And I thought, okay, so I'm going to sell, get paid commission for it, and it's a leaderboard, so that brought out some competition in me. And I think that was my first experience of being able to do sales and executing it. I just absolutely loved it. I loved the competition element. I loved the fact I could make more money out of it. So that was my first experience in sales. And then when I came home after doing that, that was my career path first, because it suited my personality, it suited what I enjoyed doing, competitive, outgoing, like talking to people. So that's what really kicked off my sales career.
You say competitive and outgoing, and for people probably like yourself and me, I'm like, that leaderboard, that would inspire and motivate. But for some people, competitive and outgoing, and is all sales quite cutthroat when it comes to that? I'm thinking a car salesman and that leaderboard there, and is it a cutthroat industry, or is that just the way the films make it out to be?
Yeah, no, that's the way it's perceived. And that's what we want to try and change, because it's certainly not. Sales, there's a place for sales people selling in every walk of life. If you walk into a room full of business owners, there'll be certain business owners that are comfortable selling, there'll be other business owners that are not. So it's just about being able to play to your strengths, and that's kind of where people like myself fit in to be able to help that, bring that out of them, and give them that support and encouragement to be able to go and do that.
To be there's certain things you need qualifications for in life. To be a vet, you need to have trained to be a vet, doctor, architect. But if you have a bit of passion, you can get into sales quite early on, jump into an organisation as long as you're providing value, and don't mean hitting targets, because that does sound quite high pressure. But if you can if you can add more value to a company than what you're asking for in remuneration, you can. The reason I love sales as a career is you could make your own career. Somebody could come to me at Pillow and say, if I charge you X a day, I'll make you Y back. I'll make you 10 times back. If I get you a sale, I want 10-20% of that. And it becomes self-funding. So for people that might not be going down an academic route and might not be saying, hey, I've got a management degree or I'm going to be a doctor, I think sales, and you'll find, I bet there's a lot more salespeople making a lot more money than there are. I've went to university for 4 years as well. So leads me on to the question of, if people are looking to get into sales and think, oh no, it's like being property, estate agents and trying those leaderboards, car salesmen, and you watch films like Wolf of Wall Street, etc., and it's unethical. People may be looking at that and put off for a little bit apprehensive. What's some advice for people looking to get into sales? How would they start such a thing? Because I don't think they do a sales degree.
Yeah, it's interesting because if you're going to look at that higher end, there is degrees that you can go and do in business, economics, and that sort of such like they'll touch on sales. But in terms of that, there's so many different sales roles and business development roles out there where you can start with literally none or no experience. And there's so many good companies out there that'll start and build and train you and look after you and support you within that journey. Again, when I came home from being abroad, that's exactly what I did. I joined a global business with virtually no sales experience, and they trained me up. So there's lots of different routes into it. And we're obviously looking to try and promote and help that through what we do here at Salesgeek.
Lovely. And by the way, guys, I mentioned that we get, if I look at LinkedIn and email and messages, always trying to get sold stuff all the time. I must get 30, 40 messages across my platforms a day. So much so, Ellen deals with all that for me, all the bombardment of sales stuff of, hi, I want to be your web developer. I want to sell you folk cobblers. It all gets ignored. But if somebody comes to me with a proposal and says, Scott, pretty much like David, it's Scott, I could add value to you and I will outperform any remuneration you're giving me. People can create their own jobs. People come to Pillow and say, Scott, if I help you get hosts, we have affiliate programs, but if I can get you a £5,000 booking, Scott, would you give me 10%? Absolutely, we would, because you could sit at home getting those as a parent, as a mum, as somebody disabled, as someone that's anxious to go out into the workplace, anything you could sit and work and help us get hosts. Why? Because it's better than us paying booking.com. Our hosts would be delighted to get guests. If you can get us stuff, I'd much rather pay salespeople and individual people and small businesses to get us new properties on, to find our new franchisees across the UK. So it's a beautiful industry in the fact we leave that open-ended. When people come and say, can I get a job, Scott? Well, what are you going to do? Oh, I don't know. But when people come and say, I will help you do X and this is the value I will deliver because I'll do sales, it's beautiful because everybody wins. So one more question here. Excited to see Davie from Salesgeek. Just wondering, who's your sales hero?
Sales hero.
Books. Sales books. No,
I'm going to say a bit of a random one here, Jerry Maguire.
Right. From the film? From the
film, yeah.
Right.
Just because, well, actually, one of the songs in it was my wedding song, actually. But yeah, Jerry Maguire, I just thought it was, he's probably the stereotypical thing that we don't want to promote at Salesgeek. You know, it's probably that, the high pressure, pushy, but then towards the end of the film, he sells an emotion, he sells properly, he sells ethically, you know, so it's that transformational piece. I think that's pretty cool, and it's also an awesome film.
Nice. Films and sales things, I don't necessarily have a hero because I don't know enough about sales to have heroes, but I remember that we mentioned Wolf of Wall Street, and he obviously went to jail for his unethical sales practices. But if you read his book, The Way of the Wolf Straight Line Selling System, it tells you in that, I'm going to teach you what I did, but I did it unethically, and he must have said it about 20 times throughout the book. Do not use this unethically. I'm teaching you to use it ethically. And some of his points were actually brand new. I saw him in person, Jordan Belfort, not Leonardo DiCaprio, but Jordan Belfort, where he tells his story. And there's a second follow-up book to Wolf of Wall Street. But actually his sales principles there about just building rapport and being truthful. And it shows he taught those same principles at Stratton Oakmont and ripped people off and went to jail for it, for whatever it was they get charged with. But then he goes on to teach that ethically. So the same set of principles can be used right or wrong, for good or evil. I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, guys, you will see people using both of those types of sales. So, two more questions for me and we will wrap up, because we spent a long day together and it's we've covered extensively the topic of sales and build a nice plan out. What's one tip for businesses out there? You can read books and watch podcasts, you can do courses, but what's for businesses, what's one simple, quick, implementable a word? I don't know as now. What's something that people can take away from this and implement quickly?
It's just about being able to kind of have preset goals, whether it's annual, monthly, quarterly, whatever. If you've got your goals set out for the year, everybody knows what they're doing, everybody knows what they're working towards, the whole team's involved in that. Have that plan and sense check that throughout the month and the year, and being able to have a goal and a vision, and make sure you and your business is working towards that. It's probably the best way I can give you.
Nice. By the way, guys, that's a super sensible answer. MD for sales that was watching, I think I'm going to get a tip from Davie that's some magical secret sauce that means they'll be an overnight millionaire with no work and no experience and no money. And that's not necessarily the way the world works. People selling you courses and bullshitting you and selling you stuff online that would have you believe that that's the case. Hey, you don't need any experience, you don't need any work for an hour a month and I'll make you a millionaire as long as you buy my X product. But the sensible advice of setting targets, planning, building your team, making that sensible, building a plan out, following it, holding people accountable is just solid advice. And that may not be remarkable to people, but it is to solid business owners that know their shit, because that's essentially what you need. So I'm going to come to the end. You've given a lot of time for you today to help my business owners, our franchisees at Pillow, just to come in and share knowledge freely of your own accord to add value to our network and all the people that are entrepreneurs via Pillow Partners. So let's see if we can get you something back. The audience watching here, if you've enjoyed that nice little tip, what's your ideal client? If people are watching online and says, I like Davie, I'd like to answer, I would like to work with them. What's your ideal client if they're watching? Let's see if we can get Davie 3 bits of new business from this podcast.
Yeah, it's really probably simple for me. Somebody who's looking at a business, who's looking to take that next tranche of growth, maybe don't have a clear path or defined way how to get there, maybe want some support to build that out. So yeah, somebody who's looking for the next part of growth, for the next phase of their journey.
And by the way, guys, any sales thing, whatever it costs, you should get back multiple times over. So essentially, it's a free service. I talk about our property management services being free. People say it's 20%. It's not, because we'll make you more than 20% back if you use us. So when Davie's talking about adding more value than he would ever charge us, I instantly understood and resonated with that, simply because that's what we do. So anybody not wanting to invest in sales training or advancing their team or their skills, if they can afford the initial outlay, they're going to make that multiple times back. Cool. So I'll put Davie's details under here. Thank you very much for watching, guys. It's been a pleasure. This is a 15-minute snapshot. I've got to know Davie and his business and his skills and his ethics very, very well. So if you're part of the Pillow team, even our host, you'll be seeing some of what we are going to be doing together to get you guys more guests as hosts, to get our franchisees more hosts, and just basically building the business. And that all leads to us giving back to society and the charity side. That's what we are talking about. When we were talking about sales, it wasn't about numbers of properties and growth. It was linked to happy nights for guests was our target. And then each happy night that we have links back to social impact in the communities. So we're taking that sales conversation, we mentioned is it like intimidating and sales calls and cold calling? It was none of that. It was just basically about nice business growth that we can deliver social impact and doing a good job in adding value to our customers, which then in turn helps save lives in the community. And we've linked it back and made it non-aggressive, non-pushy. It's just aligning with our core values. And that's the thing. We think salespeople, is it pushy? Is it getting contracts signed? We've really just deep dive today about the core values of Pillar, the culture, and what we want to achieve. So thank you very much, David. Thank you for the viewers. If you didn't get a question answered because you didn't watch live and you're watching us on replay somewhere, please pop me a message or pop Davey a message. I'll put his details here. And guys, Davey's given his time today to bring you some content and some advice. If you have need of his services, please get in touch and I will vouch for him. He'll do a fantastic job. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys.